The victim's name is Elsbeth Hasgard, age 27, height 5'7", weight approximately 110 pounds. She lives in an apartment at 422 Albritton on the north side. That's where her body was found. Hasgard was a doctoral candidate in the anthropology department at the university. Word is that she's one of their most brilliant students in years. Her field work is the study of the Voodoo religion in Haiti. From the looks of things, I wouldn't be surprised if it had something to do with the murder. The victim was found lying on the floor in her office at home, arranged like Christ on the cross. There's even blood in each palm, although we're not sure it's hers. Her face and body have been smeared with some kind of clay or mud. There's an intricate symbol drawn in white powder to the left of the body on the floor. Above the victim's head is a small shrine filled with what appear to be fetish objects. The victim is naked, except for a white cotton dress that's been draped over her. The dress is covered in more blood, but a preliminary exam of the body fails to indicate a wound trauma of any sort. The OMI suspects poison, but we won't know for sure until the autopsy. Time of death is estimated for some time around 10 p.m. last night. An undergraduate named Paul Budnick found the body at around 10 this morning. He's in her undergraduate seminar and says that they had an appointment to discuss his midterm exam. She didn't answer the doorbell. He claims he accidentally leaned on the door and it swung open by itself. It wasn't locked, so we went in and found the body. He called it in from the phone in her kitchen. Right now, we're trying to locate next of kin. Hasgard isn't from Chicago, but the secretary at the department says the victim's brother lives in town. We have contacted the head of the Department of Anthropology, Richard Neiman, who said something very strange. He burst into tears saying, and I quote, "Something like this was bound to happen to Elsbeth sooner or later." Another interesting detail. The victim's apartment was vandalized just 2 days ago. Her papers and notes were disturbed, and an audio tape from her latest trip to Haiti was stolen. She was very upset about it, according to Harry Delgado, the detective assigned to the case. Delgado said at first she got hysterical, and then she became very frightened. As usual, Lieutenant, we've left the body for you to take a look. If we weren't sure about the connection to the victim's fieldwork before, this confirms it. I think we need to talk to an expert for more information. Since there are no prints on the mud covering her torso, my guess is that it was applied with gloves. I'd like to know if animal sacrifice plays a part in voodoo ritual. This is not a garment you'd wear in Chicago weather. It looks like something she wore in Haiti. If the victim's own prints show up in the mud, she must have put it on. Was it a part of some ceremony? And if it was her death an intentional part of it? Why would you use mud from somewhere else? Does this mud have a special significance? This is a compelling detail. The wine was probably consumed shortly before her death. This is interesting because red wine represents the blood of Christ in the Catholic Mass, and the victim is arranged as if she were nailed to a cross.
Just a reminder from the chief. You've got 5 big ones left.
This appears to represent some connection to the victim's fieldwork. I called 30 pet shops in and around Chicago. 2 report carrying this species of frog. One of the stores sold one on Saturday to an elderly woman. The candle may have originally belonged to the victim, but if some sort of ceremony was performed, Elsbeth Hasgard may have been involved, at least at the beginning. I'm thinking of what Jody Howland downstairs said about hearing something shatter. Could it have been this mirror? Your name and occupation?
Lieutenant Harry Delgado. I've been working on a theft that took place 2 days ago at the victim's apartment.
Can you describe the case?
First seemed fairly standard. Precinct got a call 10:39 Sunday night. I responded and went to the victim's apartment at 422 L. Britton. Nice building, 4 apartments total, 2 to a floor. The victim lived upstairs. Somebody jimmied a window in the kitchen. None of the neighbors heard or saw anything. Happened between 6 and 10:30 while the victim was at the library.
What was stolen?
That's the odd thing. Her computer, her stereo were there, her jewelry, but she couldn't have cared less. Her desk had been ransacked. Papers were all over the place. When I got there, she was frantically searching through the piles looking for something. I'd describe her as hysterical. Said she was missing a very important tape. Said she was an anthropologist and studied voodoo. And no joke, I thought to myself. By then, I'd already seen the shrunken head in the bookshelf. I asked her if she might know somebody who would want the tape and what it was for. She said, and I quote, "It's my proof." And as she spoke, it was as though something suddenly dawned on her. She turned white as a sheet and asked me to leave.
Any promising leads?
Nothing. The place was clean of prints, no footprints outside. I was about ready to call and ask if she'd found the tape, when Frankie tells me my B&E just turned into a homicide.
Thanks, Harry. We'll call if there's anything else.
Yeah, good luck to the 2 of you.
Your name and occupation?
Jody Howland. I'm an actress. I also teach drama at the university. I live in the apartment directly underneath Elsbeth Hasgard's at 422 Albritton Avenue.
Did you know Miss Hasgard?
Some. Mostly through what she did to Agnes.
You mean the Agnes Murray who lives upstairs?
Yes, Agnes is rent stabilized. She probably only pays a few hundred a month for her place. The market value is more like $800. As soon as Elsbeth bought the building, she tried to get Agnes evicted through some weird loophole in the rent board regulations.
You knew that Elsbeth Hasgard owned the building?
Not at first. I found out when Agnes's problems began. She told me. It was a lousy thing for Elsbeth to do. Agnes must be nearly 80. Having this apartment in a good neighborhood means a lot to her. Although now, after that burglary Sunday and this, I guess it's not that great anymore.
When was the last time you saw the victim?
I haven't seen Elsbeth in at least a week. We never visited. But I did hear something.
Hear something?
Last night. I heard her talking with some man. They weren't fighting, but their tones were urgent, if you know what I mean. Then I distinctly heard a man crying. It also sounded like some glass shattered.
What time was this?
Sometime between 8:15 when I came home to change and 9 when I left for the movies. I spent the night at my boyfriend's house.
Do you have any knowledge of voodoo, Miss Howland?
No.
Thank you for your time. We'll be in touch if there's anything else.
Detective, there are 4 hours left. Have you looked at the apartment yet?
Your name and occupation?
Carl Schulman. I'm a doctoral student of anthropology in Elspeth's class. We were friends.
Were you close?
We had our moments. Let's just say we knew the unvarnished truth of one another.
How long had you known each other?
About 3 years. We first met on field study in West Africa.
When was the last time you saw Elsbeth Hasgard alive?
Yesterday afternoon at a meeting for thesis students, but we didn't really speak. The last time I saw Elspeth was on the 23rd. We had dinner. We did that once a month.
Did you notice anything odd or unusual about Miss Hasgard's behavior?
Not particularly. A bit stressed, perhaps, but nothing to get me worried.
Do you know anyone who might want Elsbeth Hasgard dead?
Certainly. There are loads of people. Mark, before anyone, though.
Mark LeMay, her boyfriend?
That's right. Mark's the super possessive type. Elspeth was sleeping around. It drove him crazy. Dick Neiman, I understand, but that younger fellow barely drives with a license.
Elsbeth was having an affair with Richard Neiman, the head of anthropology?
And her thesis advisor, I might add. He's been madly in love with her since she first appeared on campus about 4 years ago.
And you say she was seeing someone else besides?
All I know is that his name is Paul. He's a student in her senior seminar. He's handsome, but dumb as a post. She must have been in that one just for the sex.
Do you know how long these affairs have been going on?
Since the fall, after her return from Haiti. Dick Neiman a bit before, perhaps. He's on the selection committee for the Nobel Fellowship, and I believe Elspeth was hoping to advance herself through non-academic means. She needn't have, though. Elspeth was really a great anthropologist.
Can you describe your movements last night?
Certainly. I was at the library until 9:30. Just before I left, I checked out a book. I stopped at the filling station on Fullerton Avenue on my way home, and when I arrived home, I watched the news. I went to bed afterwards. It was about 11 o'clock. It wasn't a very eventful evening.
Mr. Schulman, do you have any knowledge of voodoo?
Certainly not. Personally, this stuff bores me to tears.
Thank you for your time. We'll be in touch if we have more questions.
I'm sure you will.
The murderer may have cut themselves and tried to wash it off here, but it could also be from the broken glass and the trash in the kitchen. I'd pay attention to the fact, detective, that a very narrow man's foot could be the equivalent of a wider woman's foot. I would check shoe widths in non-testimonial evidence on all the suspects. Perhaps this broken wine glass accounts for the sound Jody Howland heard last night. The question is, who broke it?
Detective, you're halfway there. 3 hours down, 3 hours to go.
This is the most recent in a series of reports from Glicken, Ross, and Briggs. They're a very Tony investment group downtown. The reports all resemble each other in two important ways. Every month there is a deposit for $20,000. And, according to the victim's engagement calendar, almost all of the deposits take place within a day or two of Elsbeth Hasgard having dinner with Carl Schulman. It's interesting that Elsbeth would tell Paul Budnick about the zombification and the tape, and make such a fuss about whether or not she should tell anybody else. Lakou is the Haitian word for village. It's the most important social and political unit in Haitian culture. My guess is that someone was wearing gloves to hide their prints. This would also explain the lack of prints on the body. M could mean Mark LeMay or Miriam Tate. Agnes Murray's fingerprints are in a number of unusual places in the apartment.
Detective, it's your chief speaking. Only 2 hours left. The university president just called suggesting we solve this case right away. He's related to Senator Trombley, so do me a favor and wrap this thing up, would you?
I know it's tempting to pin the murder on Damon because of the possible ID with the corrupted print on Elsbeth's face, but it won't hold up in court.
Were there any fingerprints?
How old was the victim?
Who was the last person to see Mr. Harris?
Who is gated?
Edward Talman interviewed Miss Haskell on the night of her murder. What did they discuss?
How many poison postcards did the victim receive?
It's rumored that the victim was warned she might die. How was she warned?
What room of her apartment was the victim discovered in?
How much does Miriam Kate weigh?
How tall was the victim?
What type of frog was found at the scene of the crime?
How many suspects are there at this time?
Is Vadun a religion or a dance?
Great job with the press, Detective. You really let them know who's boss. Now you can conduct in-depth interviews with up to 3 suspects, or go straight to making your warrant application. Whatever happens, good luck.
She kicked me out because she was meeting some movie guy from Hollywood who wanted to use her as a consultant on a zombie movie. I don't know his name. Politics, sports, that kind of thing. A little. I owed Elspeth some money and she was pressing me to pay it back, but I couldn't find a job. Yes, we fought about it. I don't know. That's the kind of thing Elspeth would never tell me. Yes, once, when I was very young, with my parents. No. She lived downstairs from my sister. Elspeth didn't like her. I think she's pretty smart, according to Elspeth. She did her work in Haiti, too, but it wasn't so much in voodoo. She did her work in structures, political structures of modern Haitian society, I think. Not really. I thought he was kind of a twit. No, I could never figure it out. It all started about 3 years ago. All of a sudden, she paid off her student loans, moved into a new apartment, and bought a good car. I asked her about it. She said she'd made a couple of sales of antique African art that she picked up on a trip. They were worth 50 times what she paid, she said. But she didn't go into details, as usual. Elspeth did refer to a Paul lately. My guess is that he's someone at the university. He's the head of the anthropology department. I met him at a department party once. He seemed... Elspeth liked him okay. I needed to borrow some money from my rent. Just $300. She could be so stingy. She was looking for a new car. Said her budget was $25,000. All I needed
Yeah, it was all cut out from a magazine. It said, things have gone too far. I think Alyssa saw herself as a rival to Elspeth. We were trying to think of a trick we could play on her. Elspeth just decided to raise her rent. Not a hell of a lot. We met a few times. He was happy. No, I guess she just had a trust.
Carl Schulman?
Yeah, sure, Carl. Yeah, he was a good friend. They used to do this monthly dinner. He was a fellow doctoral student. She used to say that people didn't understand Carl. Not a lot, but she did play that tape for me, the one she recorded. I heard it last Saturday night. I didn't understand much of it, but she said it involved some sort of poison that lowered someone's metabolism to the point where they'd appear dead. They'd dig the person up a few days later and give them an antidote, but she said they were never the same. Yeah, a bit. She said that they all started after she witnessed that zombie ceremony this summer in Haiti. But recently, she said she felt a lot better.
Detective, only 1 hour left. Use your time wisely. From here on, every minute counts.
Considering the facts, I think your motive for this suspect is a bit of a long shot, but I'll grant you a warrant. Perfect.
It started when she had all her locks changed. The men doing it just asked me to hold them for her till she could pick them up. At first it was just a lark, having the keys copied. She made me feel so angry and so helpless, trying to evict me from my apartment. It was a way of having power over her. I didn't plan to use them. Then one day in the hallway, she was so rude to me. I thought, what the heck? So while she was out, I unlocked the door and went inside. First few times I just sat there and quiet, alone. Then I started to pick things up, put them down, look at them. Then I read her diary and her research work. I loved the feeling that I knew all about her and she didn't know anything about me. I became quite systematic. I even used dishwasher gloves so there'd be no fingerprints. I found the notes about the zombie poison by accident one day. My lawyer had stopped working for me because I couldn't pay him. I had an important hearing coming up the next day, so I just decided to kill her. I even learned how to make it authentic, like a real zombie ceremony. It seemed like it would solve all my problems. It did, until today.
Outstanding work, Detective. I probably couldn't have solved this case as fast myself. I think I'll put you in for a promotion.